So I invited Laura. But yeah, we were kind of talking about that video I posted.
Okay. Whew. I'm just not going to touch anything anymore.
It's okay.
Okay. So you were gonna read out some of the comments that you received
Oh yeah.
on this recent article because I think that's what made us realize, oh, we have a lot to chat about this month because I feel like somehow we're hitting a really big disconnect that shouldn't be that difficult.
Right? Yeah, really though.
I was very surprised that first off, people were like, "You have no idea. My guitar might cost $2,000," and I'm just like, "Whoa,
Right. Right.
$2,000."
Well, and then people saying the like, oh, well, this guitar cost him 3 million. I'm like, you're probably not checking that on a plane though, are you? Like, be for real. You're not
Yeah, honestly, if you're somebody who's playing on a $3 million guitar, I'm guessing you're flying private or
And I've
something.
I've also heard like, well, from other like musicians have messaged me and been like, you can put it like overhead a lot of the time, or like
Oh yeah.
seat strap it, you know. So,
Mhm.
well, the one comment that I saw that I was like, oh, really? Like, was when someone was just like, nobody cares. I'm like, well, we already know that.
Straight up,
Like,
nobody cares.
we
That's
already
it.
know nobody cares. That's the problem.
Oh goodness. Okay.
There's that, and then someone
Lovely.
said, oh, the big thing was like, oh, it's an heirloom. Like, oh, it's from my dad. There's only one in the world. Like, it's special. It's like, okay, but you can still get off the plane.
Yeah.
That kind of doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Um,
My
people
goodness.
saying, like people saying, I bought high-end chairs for my daughter all my life. They were never that much. But everyone is different, and some people need really expensive custom wheelchairs.
Yeah, and I don't think people understand at all that, of course, manual wheelchairs can be very expensive. I mean, I know my manual wheelchair was $5,000. And we paid for that one out of pocket because we wanted insurance
Right.
to pay for the power chair because the power chair is
Exactly.
$38,000.
Yeah.
I
And then,
mean, you're buying a car for your
right.
body. Yeah.
And then, for example, like I have power assist wheels. So those wheels are like
Right.
$12,000. So now, if they
Mm-hmm.
break my wheels, like that's a whole nother
Hmm.
thing I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
deal
absolutely.
with.
Oh my gosh.
Like people were arguing, I've purchased so many wheelchairs, and like there, you can literally get a wheelchair for like $1,000. Well, maybe a hospital
I
one.
mean, sure, yeah, if you want to get like a normal like folding wheelchair
Yeah,
that probably doesn't need like an advanced pressure cushion or something like that. Like
exactly.
if you just need to get grandma to the airport gate,
Right.
yeah, that's not that big of a
And
deal. But if you're, oh my God.
I think the biggest thing is like ignorance, which obviously like I didn't know the price of wheelchairs, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't comment on something and act like I knew if I didn't.
Mm-mm. Well, and I just think the really striking thing is the hostility that you get is that
Yeah.
people seem very upset at the
Yeah.
idea that we would compare wheelchairs to anything really,
Yeah.
or that we would even be upset
Hmm.
about the idea of a wheelchair being hurt and
Yeah.
would blame that on anybody.
What I
So
was thinking was like these people that were getting so mad had like an emotional attachment to their instrument. That's the only thing I could think. Like,
I mean, I have an emotional attachment to my chair, but
right.
because it's the only way I move around in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even
Um,
if that emotional attachment sometimes is both love and hate, there's still a
right.
very emotional attachment.
Exactly.
Oh my
The
gosh.
other one that annoyed me was you don't know anything about the value of classical instruments. Oh,
Okay.
I don't think that
You
matters.
never said you did.
Right. I never said, and I never even said one was more important than the other. I never even said that. I
No,
mean,
you were just using
it
it
is.
as an example of like, look at something else that is expensive and important to people that also does not get respected. So if
Right.
anything, you're also standing up for the musicians.
That's what I thought, but apparently not.
I think, yeah, I think people don't tend to give the benefit of the doubt to understand that there's enough empathy to go around.
Yeah. Well,
that anyone who has anything damaged by an airline is going to be really upset about it, and for different
yeah.
reasons, but it all matters.
And people were just being like, why are you trying to change the subject? Like, this isn't what this post is. I'm like, that's literally what this is, though, is about how airlines are handling things. So yes, it is.
We're not saying that the instruments aren't important. They are. They totally are.
Well, and the other argument was, oh, well, it's my livelihood. Like, what if it's my job? I have to perform when I land. It's like, okay, but at least you could rent an instrument. Like, it's not, at least it's not life and death.
And at least that instrument, if it's not perfect for you, it's not going to hurt you physically.
People have
Because, like,
died.
I can deal with the idea of, like, all right, I don't get to have my normal, super comfortable wheelchair. Like, I deal with the fact that my power chair is my number one because it's the most comfortable. But usually when I'm going out in public, I have to use my manual chair just because it's smaller and it's easier to maneuver, but it's far less comfortable.
Yeah.
So with you with an instrument, yes, of course you want to be able to use your preferred instrument. But if you did have to use another one, like, you'd be okay.
It'd be doable.
You'd live.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have to be in a chair that doesn't fit me, I could get a pressure sore and die.
Yes. And then and then they think that we're arguing. And then when we start doing that, they're like, oh, so like our stuff doesn't matter. It's like, no, actually, originally I was saying it all matters.
And then the other article that I know when you posted it, I had not seen it yet, and I cried reading it because it is about this young man, a 24-year-old man named Hunter, who has muscular dystrophy, and he was being brought onto an airplane in West Virginia. It was an airline that I've not heard of. It was called Allegiant.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller airline, and I guess these crew members were absolutely not trained in how to do any of this, and they were pushing him up a ramp using an aisle chair that did not have safety restraints. And not only was it one person who was pushing it, and it's supposed to be two, that one person did not have training, and so that person pushed them off the ramp. And so this boy and the chair and the attendant fell on top of him, and he died later at the hospital. I think that's the most horrific airline story I've ever heard.
Yeah, that, and there was a guy that was like a C1 quad a few years ago that died because they were all trying to move him, and his parents were like behind him, and his vent popped off. I don't know if you saw that story.
Oh God, no,
But
I
he
hadn't.
died too, and and he couldn't talk. He couldn't tell them.
No, of course not.
His parents couldn't see him. So,
oh my gosh. And in both of these situations, their families are around and watching this happen, which is so incredibly sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that the boy's family, that Hunter's family is suing Allegiant, and they're hopefully going to be able to get something to help them, through this time, but and raise a little bit of awareness, because you can imagine too in this situation, they're probably feeling really rushed and really pushed, because apparently one of the reasons that they were really working to get him on this plane quickly is that the pilot had told the crew, hurry it up, we need to get next in line to take off. So this crew, which was not trained, were also getting pressured to cut corners.
Right.
And, if you were somebody who was in a wheelchair and you're seeing this happen, like, it's wrong. They're not treating you properly.
Right.
But you feel so much pressure not to say anything. And
right. What are you supposed to do in the moment? Sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah. And that's, people ask me all the time, like, why haven't you gone on an airplane since your injury? I'm just like, you can just do a quick Google and see why. Yeah. I mean, it's been almost 4 years and I have not even tried to go on an airplane.
I went like right after because I had to fly back to school, and we flew, what is that really cheap airline? I forgot. Spirit.
Oh no, you flew Spirit?
I didn't know. Like,
oh my gosh.
Filters get damaged. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, this is like 6 months after my injury. I didn't know anything. And of course they like I left my headrest on. I left my joystick on. They snapped my headrest off. Like, I didn't know, like, take those things off. And then
also, I wouldn't even know how to take the joystick off.
It's hard.
I wouldn't even know how.
It's a pain. And then the seats were so straight up and don't lean back on Spirit that I was sliding out because I couldn't sit
Yeah.
straight. And so I got like pressure sores on my knees from the seat in front of me.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh, that's
So,
terrifying.
so and I just was with my mom, so
Yeah.
we,
Well, this is the rabbit hole that it's so easy to go down on the internet, though, is that people start arguing in the comments. And my husband is always trying to warn me that he thinks I get into arguments with bots. And
definitely do.
I'll admit, I cannot spot a bot to save my
Yeah,
life. I just assume that it's all people
I
and
know.
that people are crazy. And so I have absolutely I've gotten rage baited by a bot.
The comment that I got earlier, I think
Mm.
it's just a troll account, but they said, at the end of the day, if you can't walk, you shouldn't travel. Oh.
Hmm. Oh,
And I just don't
oh,
understand
wow.
at
That's
all.
some real ableist shit right there.
Yeah, like that's
Hmm.
crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like really the theme of our talk today is about ableism. And it's about the inequalities that people in wheelchairs face when they do
Right.
try to leave the house, whether they're trying to get on a plane and travel somewhere or they're just, trying to go about their
Mhm.
daily lives.
And I've had, like, there's a lot of wheelchair users in the community that will say to me, I don't think like ableism exists. Like, I've never experienced it. And I'm
Wait,
like,
I'm sorry, who said this to you?
I'm not going to
I
say.
mean, don't tell me specifically, but like you said somebody else in a wheelchair said to
Other
you that
wheelchair,
they don't
I've
think
had
ableism
other
exists?
wheelchair users say that to me, yes. And
Where do they live? What utopia do they live
I'm like,
in?
so you just don't leave your house then?
I mean,
I
I
don't.
definitely think that there are areas in which there's less ableism because I
Yeah.
do think I experience less overt ableism than you do typically.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to say it's all Florida's fault, but it's probably a little Florida's fault.
I feel.
Yeah. I think that is the funniest thing is people look at people in wheelchairs like, oh, well, everybody who's disabled is so nice. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm not that nice.
And I feel so bad being mean because I'm like, I could be the only like person in a wheelchair they interacted with, and now they probably are just gonna be like, they're rude.
True.
But
True. But I
you
do think I've actively had to learn to be more rude since becoming injured because I think there are certain situations in which being rude makes sense. What's wild about when people, especially when you're not born with a disability, when you acquire the disability later in life, we have to deal with the internalized ableism that we have
yeah,
because really everybody does have it. Because I mean, our fear of becoming wheelchair users and being in a wheelchair all of a sudden rears its head, and what that turns into is self-loathing, and that's really scary.
and that's why I try to be like, okay, it's ignorance. With a lot of comments, I'll be like, it's a lot of ignorance.
Sorry, I just saw a comment, and I'm not gonna read that out loud. I don't really understand what that means, so I'm not gonna say that out loud. Um,
Didn't see it.
uh, yeah,
I hate the movie Me Before You.
yeah.
Me so mad, and I literally will get in arguments. I'll randomly see people commenting like, "This is my favorite movie," and I will literally comment and be like, "Why? It's a horrible message."
And I will admit, and this is so awkward for me to admit, even to myself, I read that book and watched that movie prior to being injured,
Ooh,
and I liked it.
yeah,
Because I did not understand the message. And I wasn't even really thinking about the
right.
message because I was an able-bodied person and that was not
And you're
something that
like,
was
oh well,
mind.
if that's how he feels, he should do what he wants. Which I get that, but it's like he was in a much better position than a lot of people are in. He had a lot of
He
money,
was rich as hell
had a
and
girlfriend,
had all the money to have all the nurses.
and I'm just like, I don't even think that somebody in that scenario would choose that, and that annoys
No,
me already.
no. I mean, I'm not half as well off in terms of resources as he
Right,
was, and I
right,
consider my life very worth living. I
yeah,
cannot, if I had all the money to hire 24-hour nurses and to not have to worry about is my husband gonna have to take a job outside the house and we're gonna
yeah,
have to figure out who's gonna be with me, and I don't have to worry about travel and I don't have to worry about what are you upset about?
right.
Figure it out.
A movie and just be like, oh well, he must really hate his life. Like I would too. It's like, well, that's horrible.
Well, because it was very clearly an able-bodied person
Yeah.
writing a disabled character.
And like, I feel like people in that position, if you're going to choose that, it's another reason. Like you're having a secondary problem where you're like, you know, getting all these UTIs, or like you're feeling horrible. Like they didn't even show a lot of his secondary stuff. Really didn't.
They really didn't even talk about any of his symptoms other than he couldn't move and he had some pain.
Right.
They really didn't talk. Yeah. But that's, I mean, I feel like we could very easily do an entire series on movies that show different levels of disability.
The majority of comments I get on my videos with Jack are, if it was the other way around, the women would leave. And I'm like, do you want to know this?
No. Not according to the stats.
So I just sent him stats.
I mean, that's one of the only things that actually made me finally able to sort of accept being in an interabled relationship, because in the beginning, I really had a hard time with the idea of staying with Sam, because I felt like I would be dragging him down in some way.
Right.
And of course I felt that way because that's what society tells us is true.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, if this happened to me, how would you feel? And what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, of course I would stick with you. Of course I would do anything possible to make your life more comfortable and to be here with you. Mm-hmm. And he was like, that's all I'm doing for you.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, this makes more sense now. Yeah.
And Jack will say, like, one of the biggest reasons, like, he stayed is because he was like, I know you would have done this for me. Like, I knew you well enough that I knew you would have done it. And so I always think that's interesting because we were obviously not married and a lot younger.
Right. But still, I mean, that's, you know, you recognize that when you love somebody, that's what matters.
And yeah, like you said, it just comes down to, like, just because you're injured doesn't mean he doesn't love you anymore. Like, they can't turn that off. They still love and care about you. Like, and I think some people are just like, well, I don't get it. And I'm like, well, then it hasn't happened to someone you're in love with. That's why you don't get it.
When people imagine there's like, I just don't know how I'd do that or how I'd stay or how I'd still see the person the same way. I'm just like, that just tells me that I don't think you've ever actually been in love.
That's what I think.
Because if you've never felt that strongly enough about another person, sorry, you've been infatuated, you've been in puppy love, you've never been in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally what I think it is. Because I'm like, you don't have to be married. Like, me and Jack were together for literally, we hung out for like 4 months.
Yeah.
So, like, I
mean, we've spoken to other interabled couples where it was just like, we met and we liked each other as people, and the disability was secondary to that. That has nothing to do with any of that. That was just logistics to figure out in terms of a relationship.
And I think there's just some able-bodied people that can do that and some that can't see past it because it's so, you know, ingrained in them.
Yeah.
Sad, but.
No, it is. It's absolutely terrible. And that was one of the things that I think everybody has to grapple with when they become injured. Aggression Squad asked if I've had any new hobbies since becoming injured. And I will say one of them is that I can actually watch horror movies now and enjoy them because I was never able to watch horror movies really before my injury. I was such a wimp about them. I would actually, if I knew I had to watch a horror movie with friends, I would Wikipedia at the end so that I didn't have to be surprised and super scared, and I could were
you scared of, like, getting jumped? Is that what scared you, or you just were scared about the whole thing?
I think jump scares were big, but also I'm just a very visual person, so I tend to have very vivid dreams. And so if I watch a very visually upsetting movie, I will dream about it, and it will be very vivid and terrifying. Now, not as much, but it's also, I think the other two things I had a really hard time with was anyone wearing masks. Hell no. I still don't like that, actually. And any human body moving in a way that human bodies are not supposed to move.
So in a wheelchair. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, no, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, particularly people who, you know, when they have people like in those horrible movies, like move like a spider.
Oh,
they have them like crab walk across the floor.
Doing that. They always do that.
Yeah. Or they have them, you know, like like contort in some weird way, like
Yeah,
The Exorcist, that kind of thing really messes me up.
I hate that too.
And so, yeah, I struggle with that. And prior to my injury, I had always loved zombie stuff.
I've always loved horror, so
Oh,
that's that's the same.
okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I've had new hobbies.
So horror movies don't like stick in your head and bother you for a while. You just like, you got it. You're cool.
Yeah, like sometimes that, like the exorcism
Okay.
one, that stuff I don't
Oh,
like. That used to scare me,
yeah.
but now like not really. I don't know why.
Interesting. Okay. I'll have to share my movie spreadsheet with you.
Yeah, share
See
them
if you
with
have
me.
any that I need to see.
And sometimes I'm like, now I'm like, well, at least if somebody like did break in, like I can't even run and hide. Like I'm just screwed. So
Yes.
that,
There
but it's
is a
like the
certain
running and
level,
hiding is probably scarier sometimes.
there's a certain level of nihilism that I think kicks in where you're almost less afraid of the idea that there's going to be a natural disaster or a home intruder
Yeah.
because you're like, you know what? Fuck, I accept my fate. I don't,
Yeah.
what else am I going to do? I
My thing
mean,
is, like
I'll fight.
I just don't want to be kidnapped and kept somewhere because
Agreed.
I don't want to suffer. But like if you're just gonna, kill me, dude, go ahead. But like
Also, sorry, you don't want to kidnap me. I'm a high maintenance
I
kidnapping target.
know. And it
I
would be
need a
hard,
lot
it'd
of
be
stuff.
harder to kidnap. Like they'd have to pick us up. Like it would be a whole thing. So I'm
Mhm.
hoping it'd be a deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a very specific situation in which somebody would be able to kidnap us and keep us alive anyway.
Right. Right.
So,
So I'm like,
yeah,
if you're gonna kidnap me, you're probably gonna go to jail for murder. So
if somebody tried to kidnap me, I would just be like, hey, can we have a realistic
yeah,
conversation here? If you don't give me my medication, I'm gonna pee on you.
literally,
And
I
there's
will.
a lot of other stuff that can happen.
Yes.
And I'm not easy to turn around.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're gonna have to make me food. Like I can eat it, but you're gonna have to, and you're gonna have to like, I
Like
mean, I
I
drink a lot of
cannot
water.
off even if you put me in a basement. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. It's like I would be like, let's be real. You don't want
Yeah. That's how
this is a lot to take on, man.
yeah.
So like, talk to my husband. He'll tell you.
That's right.
But yeah, my husband always gets so annoyed when I say when there's a natural disaster. I'm just like, dude, leave me, or like keep me around
My
just long
my
enough to just
dad,
like use me as zombie bait because like
yeah.
that's my only use on the team.
Well, my dad would love an apocalypse to happen. That's just who he is. And so
Yeah.
obviously, like when I lived in Boston, he had this whole plan. He worked on the barge. So he was like, if something happens, like I can take one of the boats and like we'll take Erin. And I was like, I'm not coming. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not coming.
You're like, no, I'm going
I'm
down a
not
blaze of
going
glory.
wherever
We're
you're
not
going
doing this.
to your
Oh,
bunker. I'm staying here and
yeah.
I'm not riding it out. I don't want to.
Well, yeah, it was, I mean, you couldn't unless you had a stockpile of medical supplies.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
only thing is that, I mean, sure, I mentally handle an apocalypse? Absolutely. But physically, I'm going to drag the team down. And
Yeah.
I always was one of those people prior to being injured that I was like, actually, my line on dating apps in my 20s was, tell me what you bring to my apocalypse team.
That's funny.
No, it was a great conversation starter. And some guys would just straight up be like, I don't know, I don't think I bring anything. I'm like, why did you even message me?
You're like, maybe don't bring that up.
Like, no, you've already wasted my time.
Yeah, that's
Like,
really
what, you can't even start a fire? Like, you don't think you bring anything?
right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go and be somewhere cold. It would, no. Like, I go,
Oh my God, I'd have to be somewhere cold without my electric
that's
blanket.
my fear. I'm like, just being cold, that's bad enough for me.
No, I mean, I am as high maintenance as a purse dog at this point
Yeah.
with all my health stuff. You don't
I'm
want me.
like, I'm not going to ever be able to be happy. So why would I want to stay?
But yeah, I joke with Sam all the time where I'm just like, we'll keep you on the apocalypse team for exactly as long as we have medical supplies to hold out. And then the moment there's a situation where I can just like very dramatically sacrifice myself for the team, I'm in. I will drive my power chair through a
Yeah.
horde of zombies
Yeah.
and give you all a little time.
Like, at least we could be helpful somehow.
Oh, somebody just mentioned the guy in the wheelchair on The Walking Dead. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
I love The Walking Dead, and I've been
So do
rewatching.
you remember this character?
Yeah, I literally just rewatched that season,
So, oh, you
and
just rewatched it? Oh my God,
yeah,
I didn't know you love it as much as I do.
yeah.
I've watched The Walking Dead 3 times through at this point.
Have you seen the show From?
Yes. Love it. Absolutely love it.
New
Yeah.
season out April
Um,
at the end of the month.
which one?
Excited.
Yeah, so there was a guy in a wheelchair in The Walking
Yes.
Dead, and he was awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't
He was a
bad.
paraplegic.
He was
So
definitely
he was a paraplegic, so he was able to shoot guns, which is great.
yes.
I do think if we made some sort of adaptive thing, I could potentially shoot a gun, which also does irritate the crap out of me because prior to my injury, I was a really good shot.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that I can't do that now is so annoying because I'm like, damn it, I was good at that.
I was ever good at it.
Actually, no. I could at least if I'm in a wheelchair and I can like brace it against my lap, I could totally manage a shotgun, right?
Might not be accurate, but
Yeah, but you don't need to be accurate with a shotgun.
well,
Yeah, I could totally do that. That would be great.
Yeah.
The guy in The Walking Dead, he had a lot of like upper body strength and he could
And it was
transfer
pretty
himself pretty
accurate
easy.
because he was in like some hospital chair that I feel like they found maybe.
Yeah, he was in a hospital chair and like
Yeah.
I remember that they jerry-rigged it in a lot of different ways. But yeah, they definitely didn't talk about the fact that he could easily get pressure sores. They did
Or,
not
like,
talk about bowel
that-
and bladder.
No. Which
They did not talk about bowel and bladder. They did not talk
He
about
was
any of
very
those
much-
things.
character, like maybe had he been a main character, they would have touched on it. But he wasn't.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like it was frustrating that they didn't give a little bit more information into that. I do think it's whenever you see any disabled character in an apocalypse movie, I am fascinated and I want to know more on how they're handling it because
Yeah.
theoretically you could manage
Yeah.
to stay alive depending on your level of injury. Me as a C6, I don't know about that.
Also, I will say my iPad has 3%, and I didn't plug it in.
Oh no, you're almost gone. Okay.
So
All right. Well, was there anything else we wanted to address before? Yeah, clearly you and I need to have a separate discussion about The Walking Dead.
yeah, I didn't know you liked that show. I love that show. It
Uh,
gets bad. It does get really
I
bad.
think I've watched pretty much every zombie anything you can.
Zombie stuff.
Like I am a connoisseur of zombie stuff for sure.
Yeah, you need to send me all your zombie movies and shows.
Yeah, I will share the link to my spreadsheet that I also, since my injury, I started tracking like all the different movies and shows and books I read and stuff and like my little notes on them and stuff because I had so many different things where people would ask me for recommendations and I was like,
you should watch them
think
all
about
and you should do a live. Talking about.
there's like 400 on my list.
Oh, okay. Maybe we just stick to a few.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything you would like us to talk about or do anything in the future, let us know. We're happy to do a whole thing on The Walking Dead if that's what you want to hear.
I know.
Or just talking about quadriplegic roles. Let me know whatever you guys might want to hear in the future. And thanks for hanging out with us while we chat about all the crazy ableist stuff we've seen in the news this month.
Good times.
Okay. All right. I will talk to you later. And
Okay.
this was fun. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds
Bye,
good.
guys.
Bye, guys.